Hello, everyone. My name is Dima, and I'm a Channel Account Executive at Sophos, handling Northern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We have our MSP team with us today to help you with answering the questions. So I have with me Daniel Wallender, who is the MSP Channel Account Manager for Northern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And I have Daniel Molenberg, who is our Channel Account Manager for UKI and Western Europe region. So they will be answering your questions. So please, if you have any, post them in the questions tab in the webinar, and they will be answering them. All right. So let's start off by introducing the basics of this webinar. So this webinar is split in 30 minutes each. So the first 30 minutes is always a demo of the most relevant things in your day-to-day life with Sophos MSP, Central, Partner, XG, etc. That will get you started easily as a new MSP or existing MSP with us. The second 30 minutes is always about what's new, what's coming, licensing, etc. Of course, it's very important to mention the team, to know who are your MSP team on the field. So we have, this is me. My name is Dima. I handle Northern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And I have my colleague, Daniel, who is an inside sales base in the office to help you reply fast to all your questions. And we have the same for our Eastern Europe colleagues. Your contacts are Lars and Andreas Butler. Of course, we have our lovely management on top. Please reach out to us for an MSP question in the email inbox, because that will help us. We all look at the inbox, all the team, to make sure that if someone is away or something, there is still people to answer. So there is Northern Europe inbox, Middle East and Africa, and Eastern Europe. For our colleagues in UKI and Western Europe, so we have our peers, Kyle Torres and Daniela Molenberg from that region, and these are the inboxes for that. So without any further ado, now we know the team, we know the setup. Let's go ahead and do the demo. But just remember, everyone, that we are trying to create this MSP community for all of you. So you be part of something and you share experiences, because the managed service business is a special, it's not like the normal reseller business. So we want to have a community for all of you guys. So join our LinkedIn group and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will show a couple of vids and a couple of screenshots from that later on. So now I'm gonna jump into the demo and I will open Central Dashboard. So let's see if I am still logged in. So I'm still. So normally, when you want to start your day with Sophos, it's like the mantra, right? You start in with id.sophos.com. If you realized what I just wrote, id.sophos.com. Everyone who joins our partner community needs to have a Sophos ID. And then you sign in. You need to have a two-factor authentication to access the partner dashboard, which is very important. And you get these links here that be directing you to the relevant tasks or things you need to accomplish. So the most relevant one, of course, is Central Partner Dashboard. This is where we will do 95% of things. My Sophos is a purely licensing portal for the XG firewalls. That's it. So licensing means who owns it, transferring ownership, etc. Sophos community is where we host a lot of knowledge-based article. If you have a feature you would like to request, you can do that. And the partner portal, where, of course, you must be doing that. If you are an MSP, you have access to partner portal where you do your trainings. You can look at the marketing materials, start a campaign, fight in a box, webinar in the box, and all these cool stuff from the marketing side. So we will go ahead and launch our Central Partner Dashboard. It will prompt you, of course, to do two-factor authentication. So that I have been logging in before starting this webinar, so I'm still in. So this is the partner dashboard, and you can see here that you get a glimpse of your alerts, the high alerts, the medium alerts, how many of them. if you have a PSA tool that you integrate like Autotask or ConnectWise, you can see if you have an alert here. And then you can see a summary of all your licenses, monthly licenses aggregated across all your customers. So you know how big your business is. And this more is for the term side of business. If you have central customers that are buying 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from you, or starting a normal trial, so you can see that here. Of course, if you are 100% MSP, you would not need that section, but there are so many partners, they are transitioning and they are still have this mixed business. They still have some customers who wants to buy a term license and some customers they fully manage. So the advantage of Sophos Central is that you can have all of your customer, regardless of what license type they are using, in one place, right? And then we have the firewalls as well that you can see here. The alerts section is where you can look at and you can do a proactive kind of resolution to these alerts. You can have your help desk team accessing that. And that's very important for you as a managed service provider, where you can have this proactive response, whether instead of waiting for the customer to log a case with you, right? Logs here is where you can have logs and you can export it and integrate it into other logging tools, etc. Now, Sophos Central Customers is this single view that can tell you your customers, what are their name, and give you one look like, okay, what are they using? So you see here this green here, that means they have a license that is purchased from you. And you can see here that it's a monthly license, how many devices, and obviously it's a device encryption, and you can look for more details here. This here means it's a trial. Again, that applies to the term customers. Here you can see everything. So if we go down to the managed customer usage section, you will have this customer here, and you can see what type each customer is. This view is only available for MSP partners. So if you are a non-MSP Flex, you will not see that fully. And you see this is a term customer, the rest are monthly, and what licenses do we have, etc. And what we have given you here, of course, is a single pane of glass to manage all your customers. But for the salespersons of you, we give you what we call white space analysis. Look at this all white space in front of you. Everything that is white, that means license that could be purchased but not yet, which is an opportunity for you to do a campaign, to launch a call out, whatever you can do to cross-sell to your customers, because it's very easy. This is one of the main advantages of Sophos Central, combined with the MSP program, is the ability to cross-sell easily, increase your usage, and of course, increase your revenue, right? So this is the whole idea. Now, from here, let's say if you are a brand new MSP with us, then you need to start your first customer, right? And then it's by simply clicking create monthly account, and we type the name, let's say CEEMEA new MSP, address CEEMEA new MSP, city Stockholm. So I am based in Stockholm, and I live in a city called, oh, that's only for the US. And then I need to enter some code, so it fills in. Now this is the email, very simple thing. It needs to be unique, and it doesn't really need to be an email that you access, right? Like it doesn't need to work. So I can easily say customer1@mymsp.com, like it's your company name. It doesn't need to be reachable at all. This is very important. Multi-factor authentication is a must. I really recommend you to enable it to every admin you have. One of the main things that attackers are using right now is targeting an MSP, hacking them, and then having access to all of their customers and launching attacks on them as well. And one of the basics to stop these attacks is to have a multi-factor authentication. And then we select the storage. It doesn't matter, but once you select it, you cannot go back. Obviously, you need to go on. You cannot change the storage later on. You need to create a new central account, and you create next. Now, this section is also important. It will tell you which license you want to start with, right? And I will tell you why this is so important. So obviously, if you haven't sold mobile, it doesn't matter. If you haven't sold server, it doesn't matter. If you haven't sold endpoint, also it doesn't matter. You can choose whatever. Selecting this cloud optics here will enable the customer to see the option of cloud optics or not. So cloud optics is our cloud security. I will talk more about it in the second half of this webinar. So it's all about what do you want to do. Now, most of the customers, most of the MSPs start with some endpoint product here, and this is where you need to choose which license that is. And it's extremely important to choose the correct license that you sold. It doesn't matter if you plan to cross-sell later to add EDR or to add MTR. What you have sold now is what we recommend you to add. Why? Because this license that you have chosen will customize the installer later that you can download to your customers. And that will eliminate a lot of confusion. So one basic concept for licensing is that you cannot mix and match licenses for a certain customer. So if I have a customer that I sold the 100 licenses of Intercept X Advanced, I cannot go and have 10 users of those only on EDR. It needs to be united across all the customer users. And if for any reason the customer or you as an MSP pushed the EDR installer, EDR agent on some of these devices, you will be automatically billed the higher license. So if you have 100 user company in total, you select Intercept, you installed Intercept X Advanced on 80, and you installed the Intercept X with EDR on 20 of them, you will get the bill for the EDR on all of them, regardless of the agent installed. And that's why, to eliminate this from the start, the thing that you select here is what you will be able to download later, right? And I will show you that in a second. So we need to be careful. What do we select? And then when we click next, then we will create the customer. When we have created the customer, of course, I'm gonna leave it at this point. When we have created the customer, so then we can see it here, and then we can obviously go and launch the admin dashboard for that particular customer and go on with installation and etc. So let's look at this customer, for example. This is a new customer that has nothing in it. So it's similar to starting a new customer. So I'm going to launch the admin dashboard for that. And now we are at the central admin for that customer. It's called Barbie Englab. And then when we launch this customer, obviously we would like to deploy the licenses. I have sold 100 licenses and I would like to deploy. And the way to do that from this specific customer is to click on Protect Devices, and then you can choose the components here. You can download installer. So look at this here, Sophos Intercept X Advanced with EDR. This is the only option I am getting to download. I am not getting MTR. I am not getting CEEMEA, because when I created this customer, this is what I have selected. And that's the option I'm gonna get. So it eliminates confusion, makes everything clean, all right? But it's important to know about these licensing rules. Now, one thing to notice here that there is a device encryption. That's of course a separate license, another product, but what is nice is that it's included in the same installer. So you can easily download them together, but then exclude it from a licensing point of view, and that it's ready. When you want to cross-sell it later, it's there. So you don't need to do anything. You just need to add the license and encrypt the laptops, basically. So if you download the installer and you keep this device encryption checked, but you didn't sell encryption, all what you need to do is to go to devices and then manage endpoint softwares and exclude these laptops. I haven't pushed any laptops yet, but exclude these laptops from the device encryption. And that's it. All right. So this is the simple way of deploying an agent, and then obviously you need to do policies, etc. Now, do you see this cloud optics here? If I haven't checked the cloud optics button when I was creating the customer, this will not be shown at all, right? Now, so going back to the central partner dashboard and continuing on this deployment scenario. So we have two ways to deploy, either by going to every customer, and that's the most used scenario because you normally close a customer at a time, deploy, move to the next. Or let's say you made this amazing campaign and then you got a couple of end customers at once and you want to deploy them all at once. So we give you the option to do an automated deployment with a thin installer. So you download the installer, there is a CSV file that gives you data you can extract and put in a script. This is for the technical guys of you. I'm not a technical person. This is a knowledge-based article. You can go through that and do that. Also, we integrate with ConnectWise and Datto to help you with the automation as well. We have scripts for Datto, for Kaseya, so that is very easy to use. So just reach out to us if you want to integrate with these RMMs, and we will help you with that. Now, the other topic we need to touch on here is trials. Like, okay, why this button is here, yeah? Trials are mainly the concept of the termed license. So I start a trial, then the trial expires in 30 days, and then I buy a license for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then I apply it, yeah? So that's the way of the termed licensing. Now, if I want to start a trial in MSP, we see that here, it will take me again to the create monthly customer because there are no trials in MSP. The whole idea is that the automation, right? When you create a trial for a yearly customer, and then you need to create a quotation, you submit that quotation, you get an order, you submit an order to the DIST, you get the license file from the DIST, and you apply it. That whole process, we are getting rid of that in the MSP program. And that's all about automation. So the idea is that you start up the customer, you let it run, and if they don't come back and tell you, I don't want it, then it keeps on running and they pay for it, right? So the billing cycle for Sophos is every 22nd of the month. So I think tomorrow we will pull out the usage. So every 22nd of every month, if it's not a weekend, we will have what we call a snapshot of all our partners and what all of their customers are using. And then we aggregate that and we send the usage report to you. It will be available for you to download and available for your DIST. All right. And then the DIST invoices you on a monthly basis for your aggregated licensing as per your customer. And that's the whole point. So if you want to have a customer to be able to try the product for 1 full month, what I see is 2 weeks is a normal trial period. It's really too much, 1 month. But still, You can start them up on the 23rd, for example, and then keep them running until the 20th. And if they say, yes, I'm happy, I would like to continue, then they pay for it and you get the bill. Otherwise, you just delete that. And I will touch base on how that can be done later on. So this is the whole concept of trials. All right. So one thing more to look at in the partner dashboard is this section here is the settings and policy tab. And a very important place is the administrators. And we introduced role-based access controls for you in the partner dashboard. So the roles are partner super admin. Of course, he is the big boss. He can do everything. He can access all the customers and do policy changes, as well as creating new customers. So there is creating the monthly customers, which means you will get invoiced, and that's only the super admin can do. And there is the management of the customer with policies, with adding computers, etc. And that was what the partner admin can do for certain accounts if you want. So if you have multiple engineers covering like one in the north, one in the south, one is the education sector, one is the public sector. So you can select certain accounts for these guys to manage. Partner help desk is someone who can have access only to the alerts, right? Read only, obviously read only. Business admin is mainly for your business development guy, is for your invoicing person, for example, who wants to see who are my customers, what are they using, what can I think about in my next campaign. They want to see this white space analysis that I just showed you, so they can be a super admin, business admin, sorry, but they don't need to do policies. They cannot remove computers. They cannot create users. So which is a really good role. Now we introduced a custom role also, which is really powerful. It gives you the ability to customize one of these basic roles to your own needs. So I have here a customized role called endpoint and server, and that person can have changes in these customers only in the endpoint and server policy. So if you have like the networking guy and the endpoint guy, so you don't want the networking guy to touch the endpoint or vice versa, so we will give you the ability to do that as well, right? This is where you do this multi-factor authentication. I told you how important that is. PSA integration, if you have a PSA tool where you control your billings, your ticketing, you can do that. And we just, last month, or 2 months ago, we have the integration with Autotask as well. So for those of you who are interested, so you can get the guide and do that as well. Email alerts, it's the alerts if you want to direct them to certain email, it's good to know. And then managed threat response and etc. And this is nice co-branding if you can want to add your own logo for your customers to see. And global template if you want to have a template for all your customers, a global policy. Now, something that is really important, please go to our YouTube channel, and it's very well organized. And you see here, it's in sections. So if you go to this central partner dashboard feature, you will find 10 minutes video on how to do global templates, how to do role-based administration, how to do email alerts, how to integrate with ConnectWise. So we update that regularly. So yesterday we just added how to have Firewall as a service because we just launched that. So I strongly recommend you to take a look at these. All right. So with this, we are done with our Sophos Central kind of customers view. And then we will talk about the firewall section. So adding a firewall MSP, it's very easy. We have so many options. We introduced recently the ability for you to request a virtual firewall that's totally on monthly service. I will show you that in a second. You can easily, for example, for this firewall, click and change the license or even remove it if it's monthly. Remember, if it's an evaluation, you cannot do anything with that because that means you haven't, it's not purchased yet. So you need to buy it and etc. Now, the main thing to remember here when adding an MSP, when you want to have an XG firewall and MSP, first, you need to order the hardware. Ordering the hardware has two options. Of course, you need to be the partner and you need to specify who the customer is. Normally, for you as an MSP, you own your own hardware. You have a pool of devices and you rent them out to your customers. So you will be the owner, right? But in some cases, the customer will own their firewalls and then you will be managing the license for that and managing the firewall, but it's them who owns it, who bought it. So it's important to specify in your order to your distributor, or of course in the UK to Sophos, that who is the owner. You need to put the details right in your order because these details are what are we gonna put in Salesforce, and Salesforce is so linked to the licensing portal of Sophos, and so it's very important to get the information right so you will be able to see the firewall. So you will be able to see it so that you can have extra options, like go further with that process. Now, what you can see here is an email we send each and every new MSP. It's an onboarding email that welcoming you, ask you to register for our webinar, join the channel. But we have here a section how to subscribe a firewall to monthly license. And we have these simple steps for you. So one of the main things that we recommend you do is that to create a shared ID called XG orders at yourdomain.com, and where you get all your firewalls under that registered under that email address. So you have one view of all your firewalls, right? Now, the good thing is we have simplified big time the process of adding firewall, registering, setting synchronized security, and it's all in two simple videos in our YouTube channel. This is a 5 minutes video, and this is an 8 minutes video. And I promise you, if you watch these, if you take a new XG out of the box that you bought, and you set it up for a customer, everything will work smoothly and you will be able to set up everything in 10 minutes. I have been with partners on the phone and this works perfectly. But the hardware needs to be brand new. If you have an SG or some old hardware that you want to have it on the MSP and manage from Sophos Central, it's a different process. I'm not gonna discuss it now, but just reach out to your MSP team and they will guide you through that. Now, one important thing that I get a lot of questions about is this assign to button. What does it do? This is a pure, what we call it, view. It's for you to see who this customer is for, but that does not change any ownership information in our records. The owner of the box is either you as per your order or the customer as per your order. This is just for you because normally you own all these boxes and you want to know that this box is assigned to this customer. So that is just a cosmetics kind of field. All right. So when you change that, that doesn't change anything in our system. So again, going back to these videos, just look at that. Yesterday, we launched a video of how can you have a firewall, a virtual firewall on monthly billing. And one last tip from me, if you want this name to be shown on your bill, on your usage report, there is a simple step. I'm not going to go through it now, but a simple step where you can do that. And it's here in this screenshot. And you can type the name of the customer, and then you will receive in your usage report that name alongside the serial number. All right. And if you go to our YouTube channel, you will see the XG section, and that has all these videos. There are the basics. It's a longer video, but you will get everything you need to start an XG on MSP perfectly. Okay. So with that, I'm almost done with my first half. One last thing I want to tell you is to look at this file here. We will share this email with all of you guys, okay? So this is the guide that can gives you everything that you need to know. Everything I just said, it's in there, all right? So I strongly recommend you to look at it. So what are the products that are on MSP? What's the difference of MTR? We will go back to this later, but this is a very good file to look at and summarizes a lot of what I just said right now. So with that, I am finishing the first half of our webinar. So I would like to pause and welcome all the others that joined us for the second half. Since you just joined, that means you know the drill. So I'm going to go on and talk about what's new in the MSP program. And there are a lot of new things happening. So first, to do that in a very simple way, to be honest, like I thought, what is the best way to tell you everything? And the best way is to go through the price list, because the price list has been changed. I have been having a lot of questions. So I said, why I don't talk about the price list and then talk about what's new in it. All right. So if this is the Euro price list for Northern Europe, maybe it's different in Middle East and Africa. There is dollar, etc. So I'm not going to show any prices here, but it's just to show you how it looks like. Okay. So what we have added is the MTR. So we have included MTR now in our offering. I strongly recommend you to look at our MTR webinar on our YouTube channel, where we talked about MTR for MSPs. What is the importance for that? We talked about this MSP in Spain that got attacked and they got ransomware to all their customers, and the customers had their files encrypted with the name of the MSP in the end. So it's very important to look at these things. So we did also last webinar, we did a special edition, and we had our MSP engineer, Steve, talking about that. What is the difference? What is the evolution of the endpoint and the advantage of MTR, so that you can look at it and start selling it. Yeah, it is the key for you to go to these customers and provide the unique value without you needing to invest in this big SOC, right? Now, obviously, there is a short explanation here for what the service includes. And you can see that we have advanced and standard, and these are the additions, what you get extra. So with the advanced, you get a dedicated incident lead, like someone you will always deal with you and manage all your requests. Enhanced telemetry. This is where we get very unique against our competition. Yeah. Enhanced telemetry is the ability for the MTR team to have connectors to other products within Sophos Central and XG Firewall. We started actually with the launch of XG18, which happened yesterday. We have an enhanced telemetry. We have a connector for the MTR advanced customers or MSPs to have all the events from the XG Firewall into the dashboard of the MTR team that enhances their threat hunt experience. And that's something only us have, right? And we will have more and more of these telemetries added to our products. So that will give you this unique proposition towards your customers. And you have a direct call in support that you can dial in and call to your customer, to a threat analyst from Sophos to answer your questions. This is not new. This is, you knew how it was, nothing new in that. What we added is that we added something called Central Mobile Advanced. And just to touch base on that a little bit. So what we see here is what's normally included in a unified endpoint management. So it's about controlling the devices, controlling the apps, controlling the content, and securing the mobile, right? So our mobile advanced have all of these features. There are a lot of people who were asking us, okay, I just need the basic MDM. I need just to control the apps, and I need to control my devices and to have an enrollment and etc. And for that, they can buy mobile standard. And if you need mobile advanced, then you get these extra two as well. Now, going back to the prices, what is very good to know is that with mobile advanced, you have the Intercept X for mobile. And if you are an Android user, or if you have a Chromebook, I really recommend you installing that on your personal phone. It's free. I use that. It's awesome. So you can scan the device for malware, control access to websites, reputation. We added all these deep learning capabilities from our Intercept X into the mobile. And the good news is that we didn't increase the price for that, but we just include it in. And we rebranded the whole mobile security. It's called Intercept X for mobiles. Yeah. Now, what is cool is that this is fully integrated. It's integrated with Intune. So if you have a customer who is already using Intune as part of whatever service they have, and they would like to secure their mobiles, their tablets, especially when we talk about schools, we talk about Chromebooks, it's widely used, so they need to be secured. You can absolutely get that on a attached or cross-sell to your existing packages and use that for security. So you manage these devices and you have an additional security. It's similar to the Intercept X capabilities. Of course, we added the same thing, the MTR for servers, very important. And then what we added, we launched a full, a virtual firewall as a service. And to touch base on that a little bit, is that when you buy XG Firewall on a monthly subscription, you need to buy the hardware upfront, right? And of course, it's either you own it or the customer own it, etc. So you buy the hardware and then you apply a monthly subscription. There, before what we launched, if you want to have a virtual firewall on MSP, you needed to buy the base license. It's like buying the software, right? You need to buy the operating system. But then you add the subscription, whether it's Enterprise Guard, Full Guard, whatever, you put it on a monthly basis as part of your MSP program. Now, what we have included now is that this base license, you don't need to buy it at all upfront. You can have that on a monthly basis as well. And that's perfect for you who have a lot of Azure, AWS. You can, I have a lot of partners, for example, that they sell managed services. And when they sell a managed IP to their customers, they start up the server in Azure, and then they use that server to manage the endpoints of that customer. So it's very simple. You can even do that, start a virtual firewall with that and attach it since they have this system already. So it's a very good thing to have, that you don't need to invest at all upfront. And if we go back to the price list, so this is how it looks like. This is a new section. And these are the hardwares, and here you see the virtual section, and you choose how many instances you want, and you get the price for the software, the base license, and then on top of that is the enterprise guard, and you combine these numbers together, and this is your monthly cost, and of course then you package it with your customers. We have a video on how can you start that. It's so easy. You can start an instance with Enterprise Guard in a couple of minutes. So there is a video about that, and it's in the onboarding email that I just showed you. So it's this one. So if you want to know how to add that, you can just watch it. Another new thing we added is Cloud Optics. So what is Cloud Optics? And here it's simply by assets. So you include how many assets you have, and that's across all of your public cloud environments, and that gives you a price per asset per month. So if we go back, and what is Cloud Optics? So Cloud Optics is all about see everything, secure everything. So it's the ability to detect, respond, and see what are, so it will discover, you can link it to Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, and it will discover the kind of topology you have. You need to have your account, of course, in there, and it will discover what kind of assets you have, what kind of devices. This is a web server, this is a S3 bucket, and etc. And then it will alert you to any like open S3 bucket to the outside world. There are so many leakage only with that. You can run compliance report against standards like PCI, HIPAA, etc. So it's a very good tool if you are into public cloud security. If you sell a lot of public cloud and you have a lot of customers that use that, it's a very good way for them to stay secure, but above all, stay compliant. So, and you can link it with you can use AWS, Microsoft Azure, and public cloud. So we have that also on MSP, and it's the most flexible licensing ever. It's how many assets across all your platform, and that gives you the flexibility as an MSP to all your customers. So with that, I'm done with the content I would like to share today. All right. So, and I can share a couple of things that are most relevant to you, especially from an operations perspective. And I would like to explain the licensing guide that we have, and we will be sharing with every one of you. So first of all is what we have in the Sophos MSP program. Second is what is the differences between the MTR standard and advanced. So I touched base a little bit on that, but you can go and see very simply what are the differences. And then you can see here what are the bands. So this is the user band. So what bands do we have? Yeah, the user group, sorry. This is a server group, the cloud group, firewalls, and etc. So you can look at what different bands are there. And obviously, the higher the band, the lower the cost, the more the margin. And this is an example how our aggregation works, very simple to use. And then this is very important. And we get a lot of these questions like, I have an XG appliance and I want to change the subscription. What to do? This is how to do it. I want to have a conversion from monthly to term or term to monthly. I want to move or remove an XG appliance. How to do that? I want to transfer an XG between customers. How to do that? Right? Licensing with XG clusters. These are the most frequent questions we get from day to day. And how we do terminal servers, how we do hardware warranty, what is the hardware warranty. So everything is for you to see how you can order the hardware, resources for you to look at. So this is a very good document that you can keep with you and look at it whenever you have a question. So it has a lot of very valuable answers, right? So we will be sharing this document with all of you alongside with our onboarding email, the slides, the recording, and now I can have questions. So let's see the questions we have here. So Daniel, any question that we need to answer?
I think one question that came in last about cloud optics.
Yes.
And that is, will the management console remain US based in public cloud? If yes, this will remain a gap in the compliancy for EU users within their conformity policies.
Yeah, I agree with that. And what I know is that they are looking at having that in Ireland. I don't have any timelines yet, but whenever I get some timelines, I will share it in the webinar update. But that's true. We are aware of that.
Okay. And there is one question that I said maybe we can have that at the end of the webinar. It's the high availability setup with 2 XG firewalls.
Mm-hmm.
You only need 1 subscription license, for instance, Full Guard or Enterprise Guard, when working in an active passive modus, but it does not show the composition of that status on the central dashboard. Will that be on the roadmap, or will that be visible in the future? Not sure if you know the answer, but
it's a bit technical for me, but I'm not sure I understand the question because, yeah, maybe I do. I think this particular thing where you can see the active passive cluster and all of that. It's more on the management side. Maybe yes, not on central management. We are adding a lot of features to central management. It's not, you cannot see everything when you log into your firewall on the central management part. But if the firewall is managed through central management, then you can access it straightforward and you can see this data. So maybe it's a technical question. Reach out to us and then we will forward your question to a technical person. I answered it the best I can. So yeah. There is a red question, I think. Is it answered, this red question, or shall I touch base on that?
I've asked to the asker to send me an email about that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is we answered. So there is a question about virtual firewall. So it's not required hardware on-site firewall. So I think here the idea is that you have 2 options. Either you have it hardware on-site, whatever, or you have it virtual. Either virtual means, you know what that means? It's either you have a PC or a server that you have the software on, you have a Hyper-V that you start an instance on, or you have a public cloud instance, Azure or something, you start it up and you go with a bring your own license model and you add this license to it. So that requires to have, of course, the Sophos on it, and then you need to add Enterprise Guard, Full Guard. So to have the software to buy it, then that's what we call based license. And until recently, you needed to have this bought upfront based on how many cores, how many. So let me show you a little bit what that means. So if I go to my Sophos Central partner and I go to request virtual firewall, and I see here what kind of options I have. So so the instance I started, for example, in AWS is 2 core and 4 giga RAM, right? So before this recent release, you need to go and buy this software from us. We call it the base license. And you need to pay it upfront. And then you go to your Sophos Central and add the license on top, which is on monthly basis. Now you can have everything on monthly basis, so you don't need to have any upfront investment. And if we go back to the price list, this is where you see it here. So this is the new section. This was not in there before because we didn't have this feature. So you can easily start up your EC2, your whatever Azure instance, bring your own license to it and start up that, and here you go. Okay. Any other question? Let's see.
Last question, among the last questions, we have XKey subscription. Does it include hardware support?
Okay, so when you have an XG on MSP, the support of the hardware is, we have what we call advanced hardware replacement or advanced hardware ship next business day. And that's included for every hardware that has a Flex license on it. Remember, the core fundamental thing about the MSP program is that you are the first line of support to your customer, which means your customers cannot contact Sophos directly. It's you who need to contact Sophos for support. But if support, meaning if the hardware fails and you need a replacement, then yes, advanced hardware replacement is included in the hardware, in the XG on MSP. And if you want to read more about that, this is what you can see it here in this section of the guide, and please refer to that. And if you have any more questions, reach out to your local MSP team. Okay. There is a question about if you have a prem license transferred to monthly, how can you?
Term license.
So yeah, term license, it's simply when you have, let's look at our customers here. Yeah, let's look here. So you see this customer, it's termed. Let's say you signed up a service level agreement, you want to move it to monthly, then you need to send us this email address here. What is the account name and what is the email address for that account? You send it to your local MSP team and we get that done for you. The same thing if you want to delete, for example, I want to delete this customer, so you can send that to us and we will remove this. We really hope to give you that automatically, so you can do that on your own. But from a firewall perspective, if you go to firewalls, you can easily remove a firewall subscription from the dashboard. But removing a central customer is not something you can do at the moment. You need to come back to your MSP team. And it's the same case for converting a term to MSP. All right.
Is there a way to get the license for myself to test virtual firewall and cloud optics before offering them to clients?
There is an NFR program. So, there are two ways of doing this. So either you go, there is an NFR program which has a certain level of discounts for you as a partner, and you get something we called a term NFR, which is a yearly license, and that is called not for resale. And then you can start up a customer for you and apply that license to it from this section here. So you have you would do a license key and etc. Or you can try a monthly account and for your own company and try for yourself. But reach out to your local MSP team and we will give you an NFR code and since you are a partner, you get a special discount on that, and then you can get it for yourself and try it. Or you can start up a trial, like a normal trial on sophos.com. All right.
Are there any plans of converting term license to monthly when moving to the customer from term to monthly?
It is.
Understand? I think simple to converting term to monthly.
So this is what I just shown a while ago. I think we answered already that question, because you can do that just by sending to us. And this process also is explained here. Where is it? This monthly to term, term to monthly is the same thing. Yeah. Send us, send your MSP team, the customer name and the email ID, and that you see here in my screen, and we will help you with that. And yeah, so these are very good questions. I'm very happy with the level of questions that are coming. Thank you very much for staying this time. And if you have any question further on, you have seen our emails, our what you call it, group email. So if you are in Northern Europe, Middle East and Africa, Eastern Europe, or UKI, Western Europe, we will share these emails with you. Send us an email as per your region, and we will reply to all your questions. And final reminder, our YouTube channel, you can see here the firewall, XG firewall videos, the dashboard videos. This is a cloud optics video for MSPs, for the cloud optics guys. Very good one. The EDR and MTR webinar that I told you about, how hacking the MSPs, how to secure yourself, how to bundle MTR, how to sell MTR. And last month also, we did a special edition of this webinar where we talked about MTR, cloud optics, APIs, Autotask. So feel free to look at that as well. So these are my final notes to you. Thank you very much for your time, and we will share with you the recording, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.